This is AQA GCSE chemistry question paper from the Trilogy 2019 paper, and it's a foundation tier question. It covers rates of reaction and chemical changes. I'm going to put the question up first so you can have a go, pausing, and then we'll review. So here's parts A and B, part C, part D, part E, and finally part F, a total of 10 marks available. So going back through, what type of molecule is an enzyme? It is a protein. Hydrogen peroxide decomposes in the presence of catalase. The equation for the reaction we have here is 2H2O2 goes to 2H2O plus O2. How could we test for the gas produced? Well, we could insert a glowing splint, and the glowing splint would relight. That's the standard test for oxygen. On to part C, a student investigated the effect of pH on the activity of catalase. Describe how the student could use an indicator to measure the pH of the solution. So you can take universal indicator solution, use that and note the colour that the solution turns, and then compare that to the colour on the colour chart, and that will tell you the pH. For part D, we've got pH against enzyme activity in arbitrary units. What's the optimum pH for catalase in this reaction? Well, we're looking for the most enzyme activity. Based on this data, that would be pH of 7, where the enzyme activity is at 44. On to part E, how could the student find a more accurate value for the optimum pH? Well, what you would need to do is take smaller pH intervals. So for example, if we had a pH of 7.5 and 6.5, or even going to 6.9, 7.1, we might find it was higher than 44. So we would use smaller pH intervals. And for part F, explain the result for catalase at pH 3.0. Well, at 3.0, we can see that there is no enzyme activity. So the pH it's very acidic. We can say it's too acidic, causing the enzyme to be denatured, which means that the active site has changed. It doesn't work in the way we need it to work. And that takes us to the end of this question.